All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1:31 p.m. on Thursday, April 21st, 2022, and I'll call this meeting of the Englewood Environmental Foundation to order. Michelle, if you could do the roll call, please.
Director DeAndre.
Present.
Director Lowe is running late, but we have Kevin Ingalls with us and Director Underhill.
All right. Thank you. So we do have a quorum with just Christine and I present. Kevin, do you want to just put things on hold for a few minutes, or do you want me to jump into it? Would you rather wait a few minutes for Jackie?
No, I'm not sure what's on the agenda. She's going to be probably about 10 minutes late. So
Okay.
Your call.
Yeah, we just have one fairly simple item. I can give the background on that. We'll do the minutes first, and then I'll jump into it, give you a little background.
Okay.
Okay. Christine, have you had a chance to look at the minutes, and are you okay with those?
Yes, I did, and I'd make a motion to approve the minutes for March 17th.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion, or anybody have any comments?
Nope.
Okay. Michelle, if you could take the roll, please.
Director DeAndre
Yes.
and Director Underhill. Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pull up this document. So just as background, before I start sharing, so as you may know, the city, with the city center redevelopment, entered into a long-term lease for that space that's in the adjacent building, what we call the 24-hour fitness building. So the lowest level, we rent about 8,600 feet. That was a very long-term lease. I believe it's even 75 years. And basically we have to pay every month a certain portion of we pay rent for that. And then in turn, we sublease that to other people. We've had a dance studio in there in the past, an architectural firm. And the most recent use is the Guild, which also is referred to as Interworks. And that's, I think, been in place for as long as I've been here. So at least 4 years now. And we do have a lease agreement with them. And what it requires is that if for some reason they were to then sublease it to somebody else, or to give up their space, or somehow other changes, in this case, a change of ownership, then EAF would have to basically approve that in writing. So that's what's prompting this item. So they have been actively in the process of trying to sell that business. And so they do have a buyer. I met with him, Dan Paremba and I met with him maybe a couple of weeks ago now. And given the uncertainty, of the redevelopment of the entire site, I think that was his hesitancy. So of course we couldn't give him any promises on that timeline. But basically now they've come forward with the letter that's in the packet saying that they would like us to consider assignment of that lease, or allowing that to be assigned to the new owner. I did have the city, or the attorney for EAF, review this request and then go back and look at our original lease, as well as we did a lease amendment. That's the one I'm going to share here. Yeah. So we did do a lease amendment in 2019. And I don't know if you were part of that, Christine. I don't think Jackie was at the time. But the premise for this was that I believe their lease had run up. Maybe we were at the 5-year mark, and then we were reconsidering doing like another 5 years. But at this time, we knew, that there was the potential at least to have something, happen within the larger EAF area. So we did write in a provision where we set this up for another 5-year term. So through September 20th or 30th of 2024. And then we also put in, and this, you'll see this gets into very specific rent. Then we did put in a provision about how much notice we had to give them in the case, that was for some reason we wanted to terminate that lease because something was happening with the larger site or with that building specifically. Let me see if I can find that here. Yeah, so here, paragraph 4, right to terminate the lease. So we have to give them, let's see, 270 days. So that'd be about 9 months prior written notice. And the case with that was that, they've got a lot of improvements in there. And if they were to relocate the business, they'd need that time in order to, get another space, find that, perhaps relocate, desks and things like that. So that was the one piece that they were very interested in. And then we set out right above here, the new pay schedule. So at the time we did look at kind of area rental rates for different commercial buildings kind of in and around this area. And then we did write that down. So it wasn't as much, you're getting roughly $11 per square foot generally in the area. And so this is less than that. But the idea is that if we don't lease it to somebody, we're going to still be out that rental amount each month anyways. So this was the way it was set up. You can see each year period, it increases some. And that's to keep up with the anticipated increases that would be coming from the building owner. So it's a lot of background. Jackie's here now. So Jackie, this purpose is really to talk about, they want to sell they want to sell the guild to a new owner. And so they have to, per the lease agreement, get our acceptance before they can move forward with that. So all in all, the EAF attorney, Mike Miller, doesn't see any issues with this. I don't see any issues. I think they're going into it, with information on that there's certainly volatility or an uncertainty about how long that building might be in place. And the only other thing that we might want to consider is that, do we want to change any of the rates at all? And again, given kind of the uncertain nature of the development, I don't know if I need to, reevaluate that. But he said this is a time where you could do that if you wanted to. So I'll open that up for discussion, or if there's any questions.
So the existing agreement will expire on November 30th, 2024.
Correct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And a downtown redevelopment plan, the team is thinking to put this request to a Metro District ballot in May 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Then transfer the CAM to the new Metro District.
Yes.
Will city continue receiving the rent, or the special district will receive the rent?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as part of the EAF dissolution process, I think what would happen, because we don't own that building, so we're just a tenant, if you will, or the lessee. So they would give us notice probably, and then we in turn would have to give notice to our subtenant.
And transfer the ownership to the new landlord.
Yeah, and I guess, but absent them, let's say it doesn't materialize, the redevelopment. But if we did dissolve EAF, we'd have to have a new owner of EAF, and would that be the city? So then there'd probably have to be some agreement between EAF and the city to transfer. This is one of those responsibilities that would have to transfer. But
Okay.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we can just make them clear what they are entering into.
Mm-hmm. So if we were to move forward, if we were okay with this, then Mike Miller, the EAF attorney, would draft something that says, here's an agreement that says we're okay with the signing the lease, and maybe he could put some of that language in there.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah. Are they the only tenant, seems like, in the civic sector,
Yeah.
except Dixon Coffee?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm good with the existing agreement.
Okay.
I would agree. I don't have any additional questions. I think it's okay to move forward with.
Okay. Yeah, I am too. I guess I don't see any downside for EAF as long as they're clear of, which I think was Dan conveyed that in the meeting is, the uncertainty of what that future might look like for the site and for that building specifically. So, okay. So I think I'll try and put that into a motion, if that's okay, is to say, I recommend that we move forward or we approve the assignment of the lease to the new owner and direct the EAF council to draft an agreement or a letter to that effect. As draft a letter to that effect, period. Do I have a second? Okay. Any further questions about that or discussion? Okay. Michelle, if you could take the roll, please. The vote?
Director DeAndre,
Yes.
Director Lowe,
Yes,
and Director Underhill.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. All right. So that was the only business item. It looks like they are trying to close probably next week sometime, or excuse me, week after next. So I will get back in touch with Mike Miller right away to take that next step. Okay, anybody else have anything else for the agenda?
I do not.
Okay, all right, well, thank you for your time. It is now 1:43 p.m. and I'll call this meeting of the Englewood Environmental Foundation adjourned. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you. Mhm. Bye.
Bye.